Balaram, he appeared in the meeting when Maharaj was sitting on his big Vyasa, and there were so many thousand students, great sages, listening to Maharaj and preparing to hear the message of Bhagavat. And everyone stood up to greet Balaram. But Maharaj is thinking, I'm sitting on Vyasa, so Krishna himself, Balaram, has come. But Guru is, of course, not different this and who knows exactly what he was thinking. He was thinking somehow that I'm on Vyasa, therefore I don't have to stand up. But if the ambassador may be coming somewhere representing the king, everyone may stand up in respect. But if the king himself comes, the ambassador won't stand. Of course the ambassador will stand up. He is simply the servant of the king. And when the ambassador goes to a foreign country, he may be given so many receptions and he may be given so much honor. But after all, he's nothing but the peon for the king. He's simply bearing the message of the king. He's a messenger. And if the king comes in and the ambassador thinks that, oh, this is my house, this of course is a mistake on his part. The example we're giving, Maharaj is sitting on his Vyasa, so Balaram comes and he takes a piece of grass and he touches him. And simply by touching him with a piece of grass, he takes his life. And everyone starts to lament, but nobody can say anything. Because Balaram is Swatantra Iswara. He's independent personality of Godhead. He can do as he pleases. They're lamenting, now who will speak the Bhagavatam to us? He was our teacher. They're simply approaching him with a question to solve their problem. Not to challenge that you have no right to take his life. No, he has every right. But they're in a predicament. So then Balaram, he established Suta Goswami, the son of Maharaj, to give the Bhagavatam to them. So this is the situation.